Over the years, we've talked a lot around here, Stugotz, about loving when your friends are in pain in sports because they love different teams than you. But I was legitimately surprised when I walked in today. You never know how you're going to feel about something. You can't control your feelings. You can think you can. Right. But then you watch a sporting event without knowing who you're rooting for at the beginning, and something makes an appearance that you can't control. And I thought that there wasn't a circumstance where I wouldn't find all the laughter in all the places about how the Knicks lost last night. Right. But when I came in here today, I had the palpable urge. I can't control this feeling. I don't like that this feeling exists inside of me to hug you.
Really?
To hug you because the way the Knicks lost after wanting to play that game in that building for so long, I legitimately wanted to hold you because I know you love this team deep down and you've been hiding that for 15 years because they broke your heart so much that the 15 years before that.
Yeah. You didn't hug me, though. I mean, I never got the hug. I need a hug. Well, I could use a hug.
You smell too much like cigarettes.
Is that the reason you didn't hug me?
Charlotte, you saw him shirtless? You saw him shirtless in the parking garage?
I did, yeah. I walked into the parking garage, and I heard, hey, and then I looked, and then Stu was saying hi to someone else, and I was like, oh, there's Stu without a shirt on. He's like, I'm so sorry.
That's the second shirt. Yeah.
Smoker's move, man.
Yeah. Get rid of the shirt that smells like a heater to replace it with another one that will eventually smell like a heater.
Well, you asked me why didn't I hug you. It's because I would prefer to not have to change my shirt because it smells so much like cigarettes. Doesn't it
hug me now.
Doesn't it say a certain thing about somebody when they smell like cigarettes at 8 a.m.? Because normally what I would say is that's a person who works overnight.
Or Vegas.
Stop that. Stop that. Stop that. I hear him chat to the noise. Move too quick, can't stop for the talking. I hear him chat with the walking. Just too sharp with the prize. White girls let it tell me I'm awesome. Yeah, hot like fire on the pan. If you wanna touch my please use caution. Cold like 0 degrees. I'm out the cage, gotta let out the beast. Revolutionary, gotta let out the streets. Locked in a cage, I'ma let out the sheets. We came for one man, forget my peace. We take the west side, take on the east. I'ma put them in a cage, never let out the. I hear him chat to the noise. Move too quick, can't stop for the talking. I hear him chat with the boys. Man so tough, but man's keep walking. Yeah, just too sharp with the prize. White girls, let it tell me I'm awesome. Yeah, hot like fire on the pan. If you wanna touch me, please use caution. Stop that. Stop that. Stop that.
Stugotz is a star, and he has put his imprint on everything we do around here. And a lot of people, Stugotz, have noticed Billy yesterday yelling from the back row saying, did we become a New York show? When and how did we become a New York show? And a lot of you have noticed, and because there's so many conspiracy theories out there, you are right, conspiracy theorists, on this one. Stugotz did try to get that job at WFAN as program director so he could have all the power and control and fire everybody and run the world. But they weren't paying enough, and they didn't have enough to lure him there. So he's decided to make us something that feels like WFAN, WDAN, WFAT. WFAT is
WFAT. I like that.
What we're going to go with is WFAT is what we're doing. And Stugotz is a little bit broken today, and this one hurts for a number of reasons, but because he just started caring again.
Yeah.
Last
night.
He just gave them his heart moments ago this season because he doesn't trust them for understandable reasons. And if you did not see the end of that game, the big game of basketball last night, even as Milwaukee wins without two guys, that Orlando-Cleveland series,
you could tell me anything, and I will believe you in terms of what happened in last night's game. Tell me anything, I'll believe it. Go ahead.
In the Orlando-Cleveland game?
Yeah. Tell me anything.
No, Cleveland won by 1 point.
I believe you.
Yes, but I could say anything. Nobody's watching that series because at the same time, and I think we can say this, the Sixers and the Knicks are basically equal in this condition. If I make Embiid healthier, the Sixers would be better. But the Knicks got one game at the end that they stole. Now the Sixers steal this game in a weird fashion at the end. But what Maxey did to bail Embiid out, what Maxey did to save the season of the Philadelphia 76ers, that is what basketball players live for, to play in that building and do that to that crowd where you're feeling so confident that you're pulling up from the logo in front of Mitchell Robinson. You're 35 feet from the basket to tie the game.
I mean, Brunson just had that same exact feeling at Philadelphia. Like, players live for that. They love that. Doing it on the road, shutting the crowd up.
I have never been so confident at anything as Maxey was taking that last shot in regulation, saying, my season's on the line. I don't care who else is out here. I don't care how far I am from the basket. I'm going to steal New York's heart from in here. And then let's check in here with the celebrity reaction, because this was undisputably funny, where you've got a number of celebrities who are courtside, and they are just broken.
With about 90 seconds to go, and for good reason, a celebration broke out at Madison Square Garden. Because everyone thought we were going to win the game and advance on to the playoffs, advance on to the second round. And so I understand that some people are embarrassed today because they were over-celebrating, but I was doing the same thing. I was celebrating as well.
Look, we've been talking about Knicks fans celebrating. There's Jon Stewart.
Enough of him.
That is the face right there of, you would think that America over the last 10 years, just the things happening in America did that to Jon Stewart's face, but only the Knicks can do that to
It's
Jon
just what
Stewart's
Bill
face.
Simmons looked like last year. It's exactly the same face. It's uncanny.
There is another picture that is great that I noticed one thing and not the other in it. Tracy Morgan, it's not a great picture, and it's got a lot of crud in it. But Tracy Morgan is shooting a middle finger at Maxey as he walks off the court. But what I noticed there is Ben Stiller next to Tracy Morgan. The amount of rage on Ben Stiller's face. I don't know if you guys, did any of you guys see Mystery Men?
Oh, it's a classic. Yes.
Sure.
Okay, Mystery Men, I should tell the group that doesn't know what this movie is. It's a movie about superheroes that were kind of useless and incredibly human, but they had superpowers that were useless. And Ben Stiller's superpower was he was Mr. Furious. All he would do is get, enraged, but he couldn't do anything with the rage other than get mad.
Would he grind his teeth?
He looked like that. He looked like Mr. Furious there, and a superhero with no powers.
Is Tracy Morgan wearing, official uniform shorts in this picture? I'm 95% sure that he is.
Definitely is.
I think
look
he
like
is,
it.
yeah.
Those are old school Knicks basketball shorts, right? Those are 90s Knicks basketball
Those are
shorts?
issued uniform shorts that he got to wear to the game.
Just in case they need him to check into the game.
The
You
middle,
never know.
The middle finger. How good did Maxey have to feel? You walk past those celebrities and you've enraged them. Look at Ben Stiller's face.
Yeah, he's still down 3-2, Maxey.
Yeah, but
that felt good for him last night. It did. It had to feel good for Maxey to do it in that building. It's not Embiid. It's Maxey winning Embiid a game. It's Maxey keeping their season alive at Madison Square Garden. That had to feel good. Mitchell Robinson is the problem, though. Before we start celebrating Therese Maxey, Mitchell Robinson, if you're listening, if you're watching, you owe me a game. You owe me a game. You owe me a series. You better come through in Game 6 or Game 7. You change the math. The Knicks are up 6. Maxey hits that 3. Let him hit the 3. Why are we fouling? Why are we letting Philly make it a 2-point game? Then Hart comes down, he makes 1 of 2. It's a 3-point game. Maxey hits the 3 from half court. If there's no foul by Mitchell Robinson, it's a 4-point game, Dan, and Maxey's 3 doesn't matter, and he doesn't have that moment. Mitchell Robinson, listen to me, and listen to me clearly. You owe me one. You owe Knicks fans one. You owe us a game. You owe us a series. Make up for it in Game 6.
I thought he was pretty good last night.
He was
aside from
great
that.
right up until that moment.
They did. I mean, both teams were just so sloppy turning the ball over all night. The Knicks started the game. I texted Taylor when the Knicks, I think they started out like 0 for 8 shooting, and I texted Taylor and I was like, this is your fault, buddy.
Right.
This is your fault. They looked so bad to start that game.
Didn't they have like 0 or 2 points 6 minutes into the first quarter or something?
did. Yeah.
So wasn't the game like 4-0 7 minutes in?
Pretty much.
Were we all heckling Taylor? Because I was texting him just laughing face emojis.
Yeah, I think we were actually. Who else was heckling Taylor?
I felt the need to back away.
Taylor last night.
Not my place anymore.
The fans certainly were.
How much do you think all the Knicks celebrities sitting courtside, if we would have pooled together some money, that they would have all just been willing to pay for a different result? They're all rich people. We could have probably got like
there's no amount of money they wouldn't pay, Chris. Like
Ben Stiller would have paid $3 million for a different result.
Ben Stiller would have paid $5 million. Ben Stiller would have said, "I will never be in a movie again as long as we win this game."
I think he goes 6. Who's saying 7? Anyone say 7?
7.
We got a 7. We got a 7. No, we got $8 million.
Honestly,
I'll say 8. I'll say 8.
8. Yeah, we got $8 million back here. Jeremy, anyone got 9?
I
$9 million. Roy got $9 million for Ben Stiller. Knicks win. Knicks win.
Tracy Morgan got super rich by getting hit by a truck, huh?
Yeah.
Well, he was super rich before.
Well, no. When he jokes about wanting to go out and he puts a lawn chair next to the expressway because he wants an Amazon truck to hit him next because he got so paid by a Walmart truck.
$90 million he got from Walmart.
Wow.
He did get pretty rich, yeah.
That's a lot of money.
$10 million Tracy Morgan.
Makes you wonder.
He hasn't had to do a lot of work since then.
Well, no, when you got $90 million, you can kind of just do things on your own.
And
Actually, he had a show like on TBS or something, right? Called The Last OG. Is that what the show was called?
Yeah, that was it. Yeah.
Pretty good show. And I think that was post-truck.
But what are you wondering? If you should get hit by a truck?
I mean, it's a little dangerous to get from our parking to the building now. And I have thought, one false step here and I could be set for life.
Stu, when you say Mitchell Robinson owes you a game, it sounds like you're saying you want to play him one-on-one.
Well, it also sounded like you were calling him Menstrual Robinson.
Well, I wasn't, though. I wasn't, though, Dan. I was trying to get to Mitchell. I stumbled at the Mitch.
John Cooper over here.
Coop.
I'm just saying that's what it sounded like. Mitchell Robinson, at the end, Maxey made that shot over him, Stugotz. And as I'm watching 2 of the games in this series, I have seen heartbreaking endings on both sides that scar fan bases 10 years later. Mm-hmm. This series has had 2 endings so disorienting and crazed in terms of how it makes you feel the balance of the series is going.
Yep.
To have the cruelty, Stugotz, because you know how much I love the history that gets baked into fan bases. This century, the New York Knicks have been irrelevant. That fan base, generations now, are starved for winning basketball so they can go back to telling you that last night in the Garden, those kinds of night, those are the best in basketball when that stuff happens in the Garden. This is the reverse of many years ago, Larry Johnson having a 4-point play where he was fouled against the Pacers, and it's the loudest sound I've ever seen or heard around Madison Square Garden. People remember Larry Johnson in the street now for just giving them that moment. This is the reverse of that last night. This is this punching you in the face. You're on the wrong end of, wait a minute, we were going to have our first important playoff series. Did you see how we celebrated when we won 1 against LeBron? 1 game down 3-0.
Right.
Confetti from the ceilings. Did you see how our fan base celebrated outside of Madison Square Garden last year when they were fighting it out with Trae Young and winning a game here and there? Did you see the lunacy where these New York fans have been waiting 25 years to get this kind of loud, Stugotz, and they were ready to pour into the streets last night, and Maxey took it from them.
Dan, for the first time since I think the 90s, I looked at the Pacers roster just to see how we match up against them. I mean,
that's the part about it that's cruel. It can happen in game 2. It can happen in game 3. It can happen in game 4. But when it happens, when they're this close to feeling like this is over, we no longer have to fear Maxey. Oh, no, now we have to fear him more.
It's also the kind of pain that I think Knicks fans weren't expecting as much from this team. Like, Knicks fans are so conditioned to expect the worst and pain and horror at any given moment. And this team with Brunson, where Brunson actually comes through, they feel like there's some sense of, okay, like, we're up 6, even with 4 more points, that like we're still up 2, and then it just disintegrates, and it was like it just like sucked the air out of that entire place.
I don't know if Knicks fans are as superstitious as I am, but I have reason to believe that Taylor, not just by being in the building, cursed this, because I have inside info that he was requesting a prop cigar before the game to be able to celebrate when the Knicks won last night.
What does that mean? What is a prop cigar?
Not to have an actual cigar to smoke in the arena, but to have a prop cigar.
He also, but you explained to security, like, no, this is a prop cigar.
I
don't know what to tell you. Here.
He wanted a cigar so he could celebrate inside the Madison Square Garden. I can't get mad at Taylor.
Message came in at 8 p.m.
We were all celebrating. I looked up the Pacers roster. I mean, we were all celebrating.
How'd that stack up against? Did you look up your roster?
Dale Davis, no longer a Pacer. I mean, it's the last time I looked.
Stu, what'd you see on there?
Yeah.
I saw Halliburton.
Nice.
No Rick Smits.
No, I didn't see the dunking Dutchman.
Taylor told me he's 0-5 career at Knicks playoff games. If you're 0-4,
stay away.
Why did he request to go to this game? This is on him a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, because he went for free. All he had to do was sit down for a day.
Yeah.
If I'm 0-4, I'm just like, I don't want to do this to my team.
If you're a Knicks fan, you're conditioned to think this is going to end badly. That the Sixers are going to blow them out in Game 6, and then they'll go to Madison Square Garden for a Game 7. It will be a close game, and Embiid or Maxey or someone will limp through the entire game. And then all of a sudden, they'll be healthy in the fourth quarter and hit a big shot and we'll lose. That's how it's going to end. If you're a Knicks fan, that's how you're conditioned to think. This series is over.
But
you are...
I'm all over the place.
You're furious, and you're already bobbing emotionally. I don't believe, though, that that's how Knicks fans feel. I have never heard this kind of confidence from the Knicks fans in the last 15 years that they have going into the love of this team, going into how they feel about the things that Brunson is. Stugotz, you know.
He's great.
No, but Stugotz, this part, the part I'm about to tell you, where people get their regional sports identity and are made to feel like losers by their franchise who get furious at James Dolan. It's one thing to have a team that you kind of like because they win. But this team, whose roster does not merit a 2 seed in the East. Roster.
No.
This team that is viewed as gritty and underdog, and how can you not love these guys? Look at what they're doing to the stars, Embiid and Maxey. They're doing it with grit because Thibodeau's tough and Jalen Brunson's undersized. When you feel like a team represents you personality-wise as an underdog and you latch on to, I like the way this team represents me and my city, it hurts when you care like that.
Mm-hmm.
When you get into hope and then it gets betrayed.
Yes.
Your hope gets betrayed. And the Knicks fan base has been broken over the years by this. And they're daring to hope again because Hartenstein has lured them in with his offensive rebounds. And Brunson's too small. And my God, Josh Hart has no business being that physical at 210 pounds. I love my little team.
I'm kind of understanding now why everyone's hated the Heat for so long, because Heat fans have always been overly confident. And I've gotten a taste the last week of Knicks fans being that way.
Yeah.
And it's fun to watch that lose. This is fun.
Right.
I'm enjoying this.
But Dan is saying they're going to be confident, just as confident, headed into Game 6 at Philadelphia. Is that what you're thinking?
I think that Knicks fans believe in what this team represents more than they have in the past because of how they're identifying with this little team can do it against anybody. We're against the odds. It's us against the world. Nobody believes in us. And they're just forgetting all of the previous heartbreak to give. This is the person who keeps getting cheated on by a partner and keeps going into the relationship trusting, daring to hope again that this is the one. This is the team they could give their heart to.
Lehman just texted me and said, Dan spitting. He was really sad last night. It was
it's crushing.
It was brutal.
I cannot tell you how much it hurts to give your heart over to a team, but worse still when you know better than to do it.
I'm a Notre Dame fan. I do actually know what that's like.
Stugotz is I mind Stugotz for so much good shit the first 5 years of this show of him loving the Knicks and being able to make fun of him, and he shut up for 15 years on them.
Knicks fans, though, like, it is such a broken existence. You're saying, Dan, that you think that they're still confident going in to Game 6. I feel like last night shook. Right, Stu?
The second Maxey hit that shot, even though the Knicks scored the first 5 points in overtime. I mean, unbelievable.
Video, can you guys just
so
find
many
me
chances to win that game?
You guys tell me. Video, there's plenty of this all over the internet. Find me some good stuff and be careful because some things get said that shouldn't be said. Knicks fans in the street, how they behave outside of Madison Square Garden after a single playoff victory. Never mind with championship hopes, Stugotz, because nobody in the country thinks the Knicks have any championship hopes.
Right.
Nobody only New York thinks that. There is no one else. I told you the betting odds before the playoffs started. You could have gotten a better bet on the Warriors, on the Heat. The bottom of the play-ins had better odds to win the championship than the Knicks. But Knicks fans are loud and dying to be hopeful, dying to remember that feeling from 1999 when you did it to other teams and you made Pat Riley, the guy who betrayed you, Pat Riley, that took all that stuff to Miami. You made him cry at his desk, and Alonzo Mourning had to come in the room and tell him to go talk to his broken team. Go do your bleeping job, Pat.
Yep.
You did that to him with a bounce, and it's the last time the team mattered like that. They've been dying for that in New York for 25 years.
I can't help but admire Knicks fans in some sick way. It might be because I'm married to one, but like the ability to still believe,
to brush it off,
to not even brush it off, just like to care so much. Like my husband can't even talk about these games. Like before the games, he's like, I can't talk about what could happen here. I actually, like when they were going to be the 2 seed, I was like, oh my god, like they might be the 2 seed, and he was like, I actually can't talk about it.
Right.
And I was like, oh,
not allowed to.
It's like that bad.
Right.
But I also there's something really admirable to me about erupting when your team wins one game, like caring so much, like going so hard, even in Philly. Philly fans didn't show up, like Knicks fans showed up, and to be that broken and still care and still give it your all and celebrate when you've almost won a game.
Let me explain this to everybody. Knicks fans are the best, and Knicks fans are the worst.
Yep.
They're what you want a fan base to care like if you're someone who wants to steal their money as a business person. It's what you want them to be in the streets. This city gives itself over to that team. They call it the world's most famous arena. They say all the free agents want to play there, even though none of them do.
Ever.
They think it's the biggest sound that can be made because they're still talking about Willis Reed in the 70s.
Yeah.
They're still talking about what that franchise was. You remember what Granddaddy said about the Knicks? And since then, they've been a punchline. They had the Pat Riley years. They had the years where the most relevant thing about them was playing against Pat Riley, beating Pat Riley. And then for 20 years, it's been quiet until they win a playoff game. And then they roll right into the street, and they are the best, and they are the worst.
Mm-hmm. That's why the phones keep ringing at WFAN.
That's correct.
Yeah.
That is correct. Yep. Have we gotten the imaging that we need to become WFAT? I'm stunned that you chose that over WDAN. WFAT.
Wow, the Dan.
We are.
WSTU.
Go sit in the penalty box.
What?
Me?
Wow.
Who else would it be? Who else would I
just got
There's
here.
always a
That's
chance
wrong.
it's
Justice
me.
for Charlotte.
Wow.
There is always.
It's good to check because there's always a chance that it's me or Jeremy.
That it's you.
Yeah.
Listen, she's been penalized enough this morning. She saw me shirtless.
Jeremy did breathe, though.
Yeah, that's true.
Why were you shirtless?
It's a good question, Jessica. I
Smoking
appreciate
shirt.
you asking it, even though we addressed it earlier in the show.
Yeah.
He was in the garage. This is weird. Who were you saying hello to shirtless that Charlotte overheard your gravelly voice from nearby?
I was changing my shirt. It had some stains on it. It smelled, and so I had a second shirt. I can't remember who came before Charlotte, to be quite honest with you, but I did belch out, "Hey!" Shirtless.
So, did you have a clean shirt on when you left your house, and
I
then
did.
it got dirty, or you just?
I'm smelling this from a mile away. This is a daily thing. You bring you wear a shirt in the car, smoke on the way, and then
Right.
you're like, let me get rid of the smoking shirt.
Is it
and
the
then-
same shirt every day?
No, it's not the same shirt. To be honest, this morning I put on the shirt that's in my car right now. It felt a little snug.
Wait,
And so I said, you know what? I'm going to grab a comfortable sweatshirt. I know this one fits. I know it fits well. Doesn't matter how much weight I gain. The thing always fits.
so you're not wearing a shirt.
Well, no, I'm wearing a sweatshirt. And I started off the day with a black hoodie, and I changed it to the green hoodie.
Do you never wear shirts under your hoodies?
Never.
So now you're shirtless in the garage now. You're smoking. So now your skin smells like
I did
smoke.
not have a cigarette while I was shirtless, Roy. It was
I feel
before
like
and after.
we're doing a Costanza thing where you have to take the shirt off before you go to the bathroom, but you're having a smoke.
It was snug. I had a couple of heaters on the way in. I had the green sweatshirt, which is very comfortable on me. Feels nice on my skin. Very soft on my skin.
I'm so confused.
And so I changed.
You don't wear shirts under your hoodies ever?
No. It's a sweatshirt.
My theory was
You
is that
shave?
he accidentally was still wearing the same clothes as yesterday, and then thought someone would notice, so he put a different shirt on. But
Oh, we've all noticed, but we don't even have to say anything anymore.
Am I the only one that wears shirts under hoodies?
Of course
no,
I do.
of course
Why would
not.
you do that?
No, I think everybody does.
I'm wearing one right now.
What?
I think you're
It's 84 degrees outside.
Put it
So
on.
why wear a hoodie?
Well, because it's cold in here.
Put it on the poll, please.
And I'm fat.
At Le Batard Show, WFAT, where you get all your calories and information. Put on the poll, please, at Le Batard Show. Do you wear a shirt under your hoodie? I thought everyone did that.
Less layers, man.
I have, but I do have a lot of questions. I really do, because
I'm here for you.
I mean, you're a professional broadcaster who's had some success. I
Yeah,
mean, rummaging around in your
Hall of
car
Famer,
like
man.
someone who doesn't have a home to get dressed for work. Like, Guys, I don't know what to do with this. You guys really need to help me because I've got Stugotz in a state of disrepair. You're married to somebody for 20 years. You can feel sort of the daily rhythms of life, of how you do things. I haven't seen this particular thing on my friend in a long time, and he's muttering under his breath. Okay, and the last 3 years have been hard for a number of different reasons, but I hear him muttering under his breath. They're going to be getting calls all day today.
Oh, yeah.
Sal's going to do a 12 share.
At least.
Nobody in New York.
He should be embarrassed if he does a 12 share today.
Nobody in New York has to do their job today. You just open the phone lines and let the acid spill into your lives. And he rubs that sports radio on his nipples, and he misses it.
The opening monologue today, do away with it. Just give out the phone number, take calls for the entire show. Mail it in. Mail it in and get a 25 share in New York City. I haven't felt this alive since Joe Mauer made it to the Hall of Fame. I mean,
I would love for Stugotz behind me to show you what the program director meeting would have looked like when he started his sports lineups day and just kept hitting the board. Just hit the numbers. Just bring me numbers. because this is absolutely, I don't know what could have happened last night to make sports radio easier than making Stephen A. Smith give you commentary from his bed, yelling and snorting because he's so mad at the New York Knicks. And just people, I don't think, totally understand how much this city cares about this team because, Stugotz, there's been a generation of people who don't know what it's like for the Knicks to be relevant,
right.
And so they don't remember what the fan base, what your daddy's fan base or your granddaddy's fan base, they don't remember what it was back before the Knicks were a laughingstock.
Here's the thing with New York. You could talk about the Jets and the Giants. You could talk about the Rangers and the Mets. You could talk about the Islanders. You could talk about some of these other teams. At its core, New York is a basketball town. It's a Knicks town. It's a Rangers town because those two teams play right in the middle of Manhattan. And the fans love those two teams, but especially the Knicks. We have two football teams to choose from. We have two hockey teams we could choose from. We are saddled with one basketball team, and it's the Knicks. And they haven't been good in a long, long time, and now they're decent.
It is very hard for me to explain to the audience how much this fan base cares about this team. You'd have no reason to understand that if you were 20 years old. You just would not understand what got grandfathered in that city because of exactly what Stugotz is saying. No, this team plays in the middle of the city.
Yeah.
This team you can get to through public transportation. This is our team. This isn't the Jets out there. This isn't something in New Jersey.
Right.
This isn't something I have to go outside. No, this is the city. This is in the heart of the town.
Yes.
And this is why they get so mad at James Dolan for ruining this sacred thing for them. The celebrities don't go to all the other games. They don't go to all the other teams. This is the game they go to.
Football, you have a choice. Hockey, you have a choice. Baseball, you have a choice. In New York, you have no choice with basketball. It's the Knicks. That's it, period. We all come together for this one thing, and that one thing continues to disappoint us.
So the Nets are
No one cares. No one cares.
They literally have a choice, though.
But it's Brooklyn.
No one's choosing the Nets.
It's Brooklyn.
Except
Not
Kevin
really.
Durant.
Nobody said that about the Dodgers.
They don't really have a choice.
You don't have a choice. Kevin Durant, wrong choice. I mean,
The Nets have been in that town.
The Nets?
The Nets have been in that town, the Clippers, what the Clippers are to the Lakers.
Yeah.
Even though there have been times that they have had the better team.
they made back-to-back NBA Finals.
That's correct.
With Jason Kidd and Kerry Kittle.
No, this. I'm not sure how much there is quite like this, Stugotz, honestly, where you've got the loudest and the biggest city, and you've got their biggest affection with a sports team, and it's cross-cultural, and it's a lot of people from a melting pot city who care about this thing. And I would say they've had plenty of heartbreak over the years, but this was a top 5 loss for them.
Oh, easily.
Of all time.
Yeah.
And they've had some on that list. Before we
I'm
go,
putting together a list, Dan. There are so many losses to sift through. I will get to it at some point today, okay?
yes, good. Top 5 most heartbreaking losses. Taylor did ruin everything, and that was perfect, as his Knicks fandom went by train for 28 hours to be at one of the great heartbreak losses in franchise history.
I do think, though, like, the Knicks are still in it. Like, they haven't, like...
No,
They're up 3-2.
It
doesn't feel like that today.
Put it on the poll. Put it on the poll.
Feels like we lost everything.
Put it on the poll. Are the Knicks down 3-2?
If they win the series, I think the sting of this loss wears away a little bit.
Of
though.
course.
Yeah.
You're saying it's like one of the worst of all time.
Oh,
I think
of
it will
course.
depend on
You're right.
the context.
You're
In
right.
the moment, right
Today,
now, it feels terrible.
You're absolutely right. It's today.
Yes.
There is no disputing what you're saying. Check with me in a couple of games, and it can be forgotten. But today, this is as bad. What I'm saying is that right now, this is what I'm saying.
What are you saying?
It's the first time in the history of doing this that the feeling I have had while doing something live, visited by a top 5 worst New York moment. I've never been given that gift.
I've never felt being up 3-2 in a series like I'm down 3-2. Thank you, Charlotte.
Yeah, well, Dan said it, but,
Yeah.
you know...
I don't think we're still in it, though.
But you,
I mean,
well,
I don't know.
All right, well put. Appreciate
I mean,
her
I'd rather
eloquence.
win the series in Philadelphia, to be honest with you. That would be great because I'm tired of them, their fan base, the whole team, the organization. I can't stand them. I can't stand any of them. Nick Nurse, enough. Complains about every single call. Those guys limping around, complaining. I've got a headache. I've got this. My leg hurts. Maxey faking injuries. Then going out fourth quarter, having the greatest fourth quarter that the Mecca has
How
ever
about that
seen.
foul on Brunson by Embiid? I mean, that's why he's public enemy number 1 in New York, right?
It's just,
The shoulder.
Embiid's got a
No, the
headache.
face.
You know
Was
what?
it
I mean, my
claw?
back hurt yesterday. I came to work. I mean, give
His
me
face
a break.
is paralyzed.
I don't want to hear about it.
Jessica, you made a bit of a rookie mistake, and I understand how it gets made because you haven't seen this particular Stugotz.
It's only half his face. I mean,
He had the riff going where he was like, Sixers, I'm tired of giving you, get your leg out of here. He had
Sounded
the
like he was petering out.
He had the
I was
music.
just getting going, man.
He had the music working. I understand. Yes, your history with him suggests 3 years of
Those are the
petering out
heaters,
there.
yeah.
3 years of heaters. But this Stugotz, my partner, enlivened by a sports
we're
team,
having sex, baby.
and Joe Mauer, yes, like this is the best version
What?
of him. That's what
No, you are.
Yeah.
Feels
good.
Stugotz on a heater instead of ravaged by sickness because of his heaters. We want to stand back in awe and have him hammer the Philadelphia 76ers again and again for being fakers who limp around until the fourth quarter when it's time to make all the shots.
Did you finish?
I'm made deeply uncomfortable by everything that happened.
He's still
there.
going.
You still smell like cigarettes. You always bring the cigarette smell into the bedroom.
Mid-sex cigarette.
You were shirtless.
Yeah, I found Stu wandering. I'm going
I'm
to change the
sorry,
story. He was
Charlotte.
wandering throughout the parking lot, muttering, the Knicks, the Knicks, the Knicks, without a shirt
Well,
on.
I'm telling you, this is the thing, right? Because Stugotz is not that self-aware. There are more heaters this morning and a general slovenly shirt situation because of the stress of that loss last night.
Yeah.
It's tough to sleep.
Yeah.
You sleep with your fists
I
clenched.
called Taylor.
You called him
Yes.
to like just wallow?
I needed someone to talk to.
So you called him in New
Dan,
York at 11 p.m.
I was crazed last night. Midway through the third quarter, I'm telling Abby, Maxey, problem. Maxey, big problem. He's getting hot. Big problem. When he gets this hot, and then he missed a shot. And I'm like, oh, he missed a shot. We needed that miss. But then he made the next 7 after that. And I was going, Maxey, problem. Maxey, problem. My wife said, relax, you're going to win the game. I said, Abby, you don't know this team. We're going to lose the game. I think in all the time we've been married, they've never been this relevant. They've never been this good. They're going to lose this game. She said, you're jinxing them. I said, I'm not jinxing them. Then they lost the game. And Abby goes, you know your Knicks. She was impressed with me.
That is impressive.
No, sir.
That right there, that is really showing off. The only time I've ever felt like that, I've told you this story. It's a great story. It's a great story. My grandfather at that point, technology eluded him some, and there was a time where I asked him to answer a cell phone, and I walked in on him answering the television remote control. So he was much older in life, but as a Cuban exile, he had no capacity to understand how it is that I could make money having sports opinions. He's from Cuba.
Right.
He doesn't speak English. And he's like, how does my grandson have sports opinions that they pay him for? How is that a thing that exists in this country? And he's got a game on at night, and it's ESPN Classic. But he doesn't know it's ESPN Classic. This is a famous game. And Mark Wohlers is throwing against Jim Leyritz. And I walk past the television, and I'm like, Grandpa, the way he's been pitched here, Leyritz is going to pull the ball. It's going to be a home run. He doesn't normally hit home runs in this spot, but this is going to be an enormous home run in the next pitch. Because I saw it 20 years ago. And he just, like, was dizzy. Like, oh, that's why they pay him. He's amazing. He knows what's going to happen off in the future.
Before it happens.
Do you understand that on WFAT, Stugotz knew exactly what was going to happen last night? Stugotz on the call would have said, Maxie's going to run up here and break my heart. He's going to take a shot from half court.
Yep. I told Abby.
I do that with my daughter at a red light sometimes. I'll be like,
It's going to turn green.
I'm going to use my magic powers here. No, but not just that it's going to turn green, when it's going to turn green. Because, hey, I keep track of the little flashing stop thing. I see it's yellow over here.
Really?
I'm like, all right, Daddy's going to get his magic hand ready. And now, and then it turns green. Man, is she impressed every time.
The first time, I'm sure you got it wrong. And it was just like
There's
the
that
blinker.
slight
It was the
delay
blinker.
sometimes. Yeah.
Forgot about the turn signal.
Such a good memory. I mean, my grandfather was talking about that for years afterward. He would tell people that I knew when that was going to happen.
Really? He was bragging?
Yeah. I made him proud by,
Dan called the
by,
labor
by,
home
lying,
run.
by lying to an old man.
Old people and toddlers. You can get them.
Put it on the poll, please. Juju, who's easier to get? Old people or toddlers? We disgrace The Rock next.
What?
We are doing 2 live hours every day here for as long as the Miami Heat are in the playoffs.
So until tomorrow?
Yeah, enjoy a long and fruitful run, Dan.
What was that voice?
A Celtics fan.
That was a Celtics fan?
Well, it was me.
It's amazing. It's amazing to see the mask pulled off and to see you so clearly. You were in such good disguise, and I didn't know it was you. But then
It's me, a Celtics fan.
what is going on with The Rock right now, Stugotz? I have the entirety of his career it has really been amazing to watch how much he does well, how he's indefatigable, how well liked he is.
What?
Indefatigable.
What is that?
He's tireless.
Oh,
he does not.
Got it.
His work ethic and his need for success and ambition, because he tells the story and tells them well, as a self-help guy, because he's an inspiration of being broke, leaving Canada, not good enough for Canadian football, and having to figure out his life with very few dollars in his pocket, scared. Coming from a lineage of his father was a professional wrestler, very famous. What The Rock has done with his career is one of the most amazing things I've ever stood anywhere near, because I went to college with him. And his schedule was so busy years ago that the very failed Art of Conversation, which lasted 2 episodes.
Good ones, though.
I had reached out. Yeah, they were good.
Great ones.
They were good.
Yeah.
I reached out to The Rock, who I've known for a while. Again, we went to college together, and wanted him to do that. And his schedule was booked. And he told me himself through like 2024. And at the time I was asking was like 2022 or whatever it was. So I've got my years wrong there. But the point of the story is I've always assumed this person is unbearably busy, because he does so much that I can't imagine that he's not. I don't understand how he's always positive and never overwhelmed, given how much he's doing.
Did you lock him in for 2024?
I did not.
You should have. I
I
think we
know.
could have had him on this show like this week.
Is he still upset about the Pell Grant story, or
Maybe.
You're never going to live that down, Dan. Sorry, man.
I didn't do the Pell Grant story.
Oh.
Well, if we
say
did
so.
book him for this show, according to this article in the Wrap, he would have showed up 6 hours late on average.
Seems like we found out yesterday why he's never tired.
Always sleeping in.
When I read this story of, and this part made sense to me, when I read the story of saying he demands to have 3 hours a day to work out and will not work more than 5 hours a day, one of the things that I thought while reading this story is, man, that's how he does it. The way that he does it is he is the star. He knows he's the star. He's the biggest star in the movies. And the way that he uses that power is he will get balance over his life, and he'll be the leader. And if production costs go up, everyone will sit around and wait until the star gets there. Because I'd always wondered how he managed the two things of being that busy and that likable. Because I would have thought he'd get tired and that his mood would get foul. And so these are some of the first times I've read anything about The Rock that would suggest he would give you some details that would make it easy to like him a little less than you did before.
that third bullet point is kind of strange, huh?
The peeing in a bottle because he's in such a hurry and had to save time, and he would do it in front of people.
Made a habit of it.
Pee in Voss, those like big Voss glass water bottles, and then PAs would have to throw them out. That was all in this article.
PAs.
This is also part of this.
PAs.
He's shooting a movie
That was on
called
air.
Red.
that was
I'm
Jeremy.
mad at Nick Nurse. I'm sorry. I'm having a tough day.
That
Dan.
was Jeremy saying it out loud to everybody, not just
Thought he
to
said
you.
it to me. Yeah.
He's shooting
Next
a
time,
movie
give it to
called
me.
Red
Yeah.
One. Which, do you guys want to hear what this movie is about? It's about a
Wait a
villain.
minute. Let's examine this for a second. Forgive me, Jessica. I want to come back to this.
Nick Nurse.
I want to just examine what happened there. Stugotz just told Jeremy, next
Kelly
time,
Oubre.
give the good joke to me. And he's totally right. It would have been such a better joke if you'd made it instead of
I tried to
Jeremy.
give him indefatigable.
No, that's I'm gonna botch that one. Daddy's
Oh,
gotta eat, Jeremy.
Yeah,
okay?
that's not one to
let's
botch.
go.
That's on
Daddy's
me.
got to eat. Come on now. That's how we do it at WFAT. That's our slogan at
love
WFAT.
Daddy's gotta
That's our
eat.
slogan at WFAT. Daddy's got to eat.
You want me to keep going
Yes,
now?
I'm sorry.
Okay. The Rock is shooting a movie called Red One. Would you like to know what this movie's about?
Sure.
It's about a villain who kidnaps Santa Claus from the North Pole, after which an ELF, extremely large and formidable, get it, it's elf, operative joins forces with a bounty hunter to find Santa and save Christmas.
Oh my god.
I would watch this.
I was
Sounds
in.
awesome.
I was in until I found out he's an elf.
No, he's probably the
no.
secret agent guy.
But I bet he's got to be dressed like an elf, like a
did he
jack.
kidnap Santa?
Strong
Oh,
elf.
God, I hope so.
You're right.
I actually don't know what what character he's playing in this. Let me reread this article.
It sounds great.
He's probably the big elf, the big lawn, the ELF, the lawn,
The main ELF.
the main big guy.
I think he's like the bounty hunter that the ELFs
That's what I thought.
get
too.
together with.
His name is Callum
He'd
Drift.
be like the secret agent.
What's his
guy.
name?
Callum Drift.
Oh, great name.
J.K. Simmons is Santa Claus.
Charlotte, did you just make ELF the acronym for main big guy?
Yeah, I did. I also have a rock story. Can I tell my story?
Yes,
about that?
yes. In a moment, though, I'd like Jessica to give us all.
Yes.
Are there any more
Same.
relevant details here? You have to understand, there are very few people in the history of celebrity who have had the Q rating that The Rock has. It's very rare to be that successful and that likable. And he's lived in the public eye for a long time without any bad details coming out on him. It's positivity and just people like him. And so it's a little surprising to read some of these details.
Yeah, the pee in the bottle thing was pretty gross, but also that there were people on the set said he was so late that they were able to qualify for Guild health insurance because they were working overtime so much, which I guess maybe
That was nice of
maybe,
him. Yeah.
maybe good for him.
Thank you, Rock.
Good for them.
A leader, a pioneer.
But yeah, he was apparently like super late every day and just was doing like 3-hour workouts in the middle of the day, and so people on set were really unhappy. Dan, you were on Ballers with The Rock. I'm curious if any of this behavior was happening when you were filming with him.
That's funny. Yes, this did happen. I want to get to Charlotte's story again, but it's the first time that I'd consider it. I didn't know back then how he had time for Ballers, and all this dude does is work. I would have assumed, if you told me that The Rock was always 8 hours late, what I would assume is that his schedule gets backed up because there are just so many things on it that he's always in a rush and he's peeing in bottles all the time because he's got to get from place to place because his life is a total insanity. But I'll tell you a story. Let's see. I'm going to be...
a rock off?
Yeah, I'm going to go a rock off. Let's
Get
go.
our rocks off.
New Year's rocking the eve. In 2016, The Rock
This
came
is
out.
a new segment. Get your rocks off.
Well, yeah, okay. So in 2016, The Rock came out with an alarm clock app. And yes, and I was
An alarm rock.
an alarm rock. Oh wow, I
I'm
get
sorry,
it.
I tried.
So I was working for the Win, USA Today's sports blog at the time. It's still there. And I saw that he had this alarm clock, and I was like, I'm going to use this for a week. I'm going to use this app for a week. And the way it worked is that every morning you would wake up and The Rock would sing to you. He would sing a song, and it would be him in his truck doing a selfie video, and it would be like, "Good morning, sunshine," or something. He had this song about waking up, and it was like, go get in the gym, and like really weird motivational stuff. The app also didn't work. Like you had to open it, set the alarm, and then leave it face open on, like your phone open on your bedside table, or it wouldn't go off. Like it didn't work for 3 days. I wrote about this and I was like, this is the worst app I've ever used. I also love it. It is broken in the way that you'd sort of want an alarm clock to be. So I wrote this and The Rock quote tweeted it. And I was like, oh, wow, like The Rock saw this. And I was like, and he said, no, I like your article, blah, blah, blah. So I then wrote 3 easy steps to becoming best friends with The Rock, as you do when you're capitalizing on content on a blog. Yeah. And I posted it. And then he quote tweeted that. And he said, you missed a 4th step. It's magical and inappropriate. And I was like, oh boy. Is The Rock saying?
Yes. That's what he was saying.
And that was the last time I talked to The Rock.
Saying
Alarm croc. There, I found it.
Oh, no, sorry. I missed the best part of the story.
Okay, well, that's usually not a great way to tell a story.
He made a video singing to me after I wrote the thing.
Oh.
On the whole app, he said, this one's for Charlotte Wilder. I know you love the song Good Morning. I knew there was a better story.
And then no one heard it.
Right,
Because the app didn't work.
The app didn't work.
Yeah.
And that was the debut of Rocks Off.
I actually have a rock story too. It's really quick.
I do too.
Me too.
Well, Dan also. We haven't gotten to
Yeah,
Dan
Dan has
yet.
to go.
Yeah.
Our show used to do a thing on Twitter with "I'm good, you good." One time, The Rock responded to that. A random show listener was like, I'm good. You good, Rock? And he
Yeah.
actually responded, I'm good.
Wow.
It was wake and take. Yeah.
Oh.
How about us?
Yeah. How about us?
Dan,
right.
now your turn.
Dan, your turn.
I mean, these stories stink.
I'm
I
just-
have a
can
rock
tell you another
story.
one, too.
Well,
He's
that puts
saying
you in
to
the
me, I
driver's
just
seat.
told
And
about
we're
it.
building up.
I have
a
one.
rock story.
We're building up to the big
Let's
guy.
go.
Oh,
Get the
my
rocks
goodness.
off. I
My
mean,
story.
Dan, I'm trying to make you look good.
Yeah, I have
Yes.
a rock story.
I have a rock story.
One time, I was traveling abroad, and I was in this skyscraper. And then all of a sudden, there was this crazy fire
Wait a minute.
in the skyscraper.
Wait a minute.
And I was trapped because I was above the fire. Couldn't figure out how to get out of it. And then all of a sudden, The Rock appeared. He jumped across this crane. Somehow he lost a limb and he had a prosthetic, but
yeah.
he saved the day.
This doesn't seem realistic.
No,
The end.
I've got a better story than that.
Can I tell my rock story?
I have one too.
On my 16th
It's a
birthday.
good segment.
hold on. Jess is up. Let her get her rocks off. Go.
On my 16th birthday, The Rock tweeted, "Just got word that will shock the world. Land of the free, home of the brave. Damn proud to be an American." And it turned out Osama bin Laden had been killed.
Oh my
And
God.
The Rock somehow knew before anyone else.
Folks,
That's pretty
we got
amazing.
him.
The Rock and I went to the same gym. Slightly different results.
Somehow that's the second best story.
Your turn, Dan.
The Bosa's also worked out there.
Billy, tell me a little more.
About my story? I don't want to bore you. It'd
What-
take 90 minutes or so.
You know what? I think I want to. I think I want those 90 minutes right now.
I think you wouldn't.
Dan, why won't you just tell us your story?
Because
What's the
his
end
sounds
game,
better.
Spence? No. Tell us yours.
Tell me more about this skyscraper story. So you were looking up at him? Wait, what was he? He was
No, I was at the top of the skyscraper that was on fire. And then there was a whole thing that the designers of the skyscraper might have known that this was going to happen. They had a helicopter. I didn't have the helicopter. But I'm telling you, The Rock was there. There was a situation where he had to jump in an elevator and then go down, go through the fire, which was harrowing. But we did it. I'm here today to tell you the story. So, as much criticism as flack as he got yesterday, really not that bad of a guy. Saved us from that burning skyscraper.
I just don't think I can probably do better than that because all my story is he was about 8 hours late. Like I had to wait around. I smoked like 9 cigars because my scene had
Prop cigars or real
my
ones?
scene of 10 seconds, not prop cigars, real cigars.
Did you take your shirt off?
Just waiting for him.
Do you want me to tell my story again?
Never again.
I still don't understand your story.
I really botched
Well,
it.
it feels like he was hitting on her. I think I'm not totally
Yeah,
sure.
but I missed the part where he sang to me.
Hey, it's Mike. We're back in the chat room with another classic interview. Today's throwback is with actor J.K. Simmons. You might remember Simmons from his fiery performance as the sadistic teacher in Whiplash or as J. Jonah Jameson in the Spider-Man trilogy. Let's get into it.
J.K. Simmons has become a friend of the show because every once in a while he comes through here and we remind him about his 2-2-gram past. 2-2 grams, is that what they were called?
Yes.
I hope everybody gets to age as gracefully as you have.
Oh, gee, thanks. Yeah.
Weird.
Am I supposed to talk about how gracefully I'm aging now, or about?
Yeah, he did ask you two questions.
No,
there,
what
yes.
I'm saying is like you've had just this great career resurgence after 50, and it's just nice to see because you're really talented and you pick good projects.
Thanks, man. Yeah, and now that I have a bunch of trophies on the shelf, I have more to pick from, which is a great benefit from that.
It's not as unusual as Liam Neeson becoming an action star later in his acting career, but isn't your story unusual?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it's unique. In fact, unique to me. I was schlepping around for a long time, making $112 a week doing theater in Buffalo or wherever, and and loving life. You know, it's not like that was horrible either. But about the time I finally decided to grow up and settle down and get married and have some kids was about the time I started actually making a living. And you know, one thing's led to another. I'm like a big snowball rolling downhill at this point.
And so Counterpart is part of the Avalanche. So you get a part of this. And what drew you to the project?
Justin Mark's script. I always tell my agent I don't want to know anything about it. I don't want to know the synopsis, the back, you know, anything. I just want to read the script. And so I didn't even know about the big sort of bombshell that happens on page 20-something. I was just reading along, and they said this character named Howard, and I fell in love with the way this guy writes and the world he creates and who this character is. And then, yeah, like I said, I get to page 20-something, and they bring Howard into this room, and it's all hush-hush and secret, and then the big bombshell gets dropped, which I know. It was so cool to me when I was reading it. I thought, I wish audiences could experience that same sort of moment, but I think everybody's going to know that there are two of me.
What would you say is the most unusual acting experience of your life in this regard? Two of you is unusual, but it's been done before, weird as it is. What would you say is the most unusual thing you've had to do in this regard?
Well, it's my first time for two of me, so this would be the most unusual for me, except, of course, for the 2 grams
right
stage, which was unusual and remains unique in my personal experience.
How about having your wife directing you in a movie, I'm Not Here? How was that? Was that unique? That had to be a weird experience for you.
Especially since we met as theater actors, and she's this, you know, cute little Broadway baby. And yeah, fast forward to whatever 20-some years, and now she's directing me in film. And I'm used to getting bossed around by her anyway. So really,
well, I was going to say, was there any awkwardness on the set? Like, was there any one memorable moment where you remember? Well, that doesn't feel very good to have that happen in public.
Well, I'm just kind of naked in the movie a lot, so it was a little awkward in general. But it was honestly, that was a great film to be directed by your wife instead of some random stranger saying, "All right, now walk over there with your lily white butt." He puts on a robe eventually, so I don't want audiences to be frightened. And she wanted me to basically like be naked a lot and look as bad as possible naked. So there were the two options of put on a bunch of weight and be kind of, you know, fat and bloated and gross, or get kind of scrawny and emaciated, which just seemed healthier to me and appealed to what's left of my vanity. So that was the option that I went for. And I had the Santa Claus beard at the time, and it was just a couple of months after that the photo that broke the internet of my massive guns came out, which with the big beard, which my friend's son called Shredded Santa.
And I don't mind telling you, you look good naked. I don't mind telling you.
Thanks.
Yes, you're welcome. you should strut around proudly. We like this guy. He just makes great decisions. He really does. You cannot spell jacked without the JK. Thank you, JK. We appreciate your time, sir.
Thanks, Dan. Thanks, Stu.
All right, JK.
I forgot the best part of the story. Nev Campbell was there.
Oh, my God.
What?
Really?
Yeah.
Party of 5?
Just like Charlotte, you forgot the best part of the story.
That's what happens, Dan.
Everybody laughs till it happens to them.
You make us nervous, Dan. We get around you. We want to impress you with our rock stories, and we just forget the most important details of them. What was yours?
The peeing in a bottle. I wonder how many of the people in the audience have ever peed in a bottle. This was something my brother did to save time as well. I don't know if the world's most efficient people do this. I assumed, while that is obviously inappropriate, I simply assumed that The Rock is always in a hurry to get to the next place, and he's got to hurry up. Like, I assume he's living his entire life that way. You can't work as much as Stugotz. There are two people.
Don't be 7 or 8 hours late to your shift. I mean,
well, here's the thing. Kevin Hart is also, Stugotz, somebody who's got way too much going on, and he's famously professional and responsible in this regard. The two people in all of celebrity viewed by other people who work in celebrity is like, my God, how does that person not get fat off success? How is that person still insatiable about needing to be the best and most competitive and grab all the things? These are the two guys. Like, I don't know who the third would be, having a reputation in Hollywood for working harder than everybody else. And he's become such a huge star now. Can you imagine what The Rock's life actually is in terms of what opportunities arrive from him? He could spend the entire day just listening to his agent tell him things that are available to him.
every day.
Every day
Yes.
he could just sit there. If he wanted to do it as a breathing exercise, tell me how great I am and tell me all the things I can have. I will just now try to control my breathing and you just whisper in my ear. He could do that for the rest of time the way that Taylor sat in a train to get to Madison Square Garden. Just sitting there being told, here are the opportunities for you. He can pick and choose whatever he wants. And one of the funny things is a career choice being managed by very smart people, Stugotz, who are supporting an enormous economy for the biggest star in the world. The biggest, the movie star of all movie stars is The Rock. Every single option is available to him. Nobody would disagree with this, correct? Is there anyone, he's been the biggest movie star for how long? The biggest grosser, the biggest moneymaker. I know the last couple of movies, it's hard to stay up there. The idea that he would trade all that in his 50s, Stugotz, to care deeply about attending to his legacy and his dad's legacy by still being great at wrestling, by still being able to walk into WrestleMania in his 50s and steal it with The Undertaker because he's still the biggest star over there, too, that he would care about crafting that in his 50s?
I want to know what Billy thinks, because there was a part about how Vin Diesel was mad that he was delaying Fast and Furious's production by being late all the time. Are you whose side are you on? Vin Diesel, I assume, right?
Yesterday was a big day for Vin Diesel. He was vindicated.
Attaboy. What are you, Jeremy?
I'm just, here's the thing. A lot of people sided with The Rock this entire time. It was like, wow, Vin Diesel, get it together. He's the biggest movie star in the world. But when Ryan Reynolds came out and was like, you know what, this Rock, even though he didn't say it, but when it was like made known, Ryan Reynolds and The Rock had this feud going on and didn't speak for a long time because of it, finally, justice for Vin. Because we were all here criticizing poor Vin Diesel, saying, you know what, he just needs to get along with The Rock. How could he? The Rock's always smiling. He's so happy. What a nice guy. Vin Diesel must be such a diva. No. Seems as though the true diva was from the WWE. Because their wrestlers used to be known as WWE divas.
Yeah, it was a good
This is a layered joke.
The Ryan Reynolds fight was because they were filming a Netflix movie called Red Notice, and according to the Wrap, Ryan Reynolds was so infuriated after waiting 5 hours for Johnson that they had a huge fight, and Johnson stormed off set. The two stars didn't speak for years until they recently patched things up. So, yes, he was in another movie called Red something.
Yeah. It's a good movie. It was a Netflix movie. Fun movie.
I would push
Gal Gadot.
I would push back that he's the biggest movie star. He's an action star. He's not Leo.
No,
he's not getting like
He's not
Oscar
acting.
star.
I heard they offered him Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
When I meant biggest movie star, I just meant in terms of screen filling, face filling. You'll see their movies just because it's them. With Leo, it's a choice. It's not just because he's famous. It's also because he's discerning. The Rock, when I'm talking about I don't know. You'd have to look at earnings because the last few, he's had a couple of bombs here recently. The Rock has, but the reason he's paid the way that he is, and I would assume he's the highest paid as well, I would assume he makes more than Leo. It's because you put his name on your project, and it's supposed to be a winning project just because it's him.
I have become death, destroyer of film budgets.
Has he done a Muppet movie? Because if I were big in Hollywood and I could do absolutely anything I want,
That's
I would
it?
be yeah.
Really?
Oh, easily.
You have The Rock in a Muppet movie?
No. I have me.
Okay. But
in
you
a
asked
Muppet movie. Me
Charlotte as the Rock.
Exactly. Thank you, Jess.
The Fozzie Bear.
I get it.
Wasn't he he was the Tooth Fairy, or he was an ice hockey?
Yeah, the Tooth Fairy. Yeah.
You are right, though. I'm seeing here that The Rock will earn $50 million for Red One, and Leo for Killers of the Flower Moon got $40 million. So he is making more than Leo.
He was supposed to make 10, but he was paid hourly. I'll go.
No, that's okay. You can stay there.
Wow.
Vindicated.
Wow.
I don't. You've been vindicated, and I want to give you your moment. I want to see if video can find for us Vin Diesel taking himself very seriously while singing, because we do have, in this world of soap opera silliness where we get to gossip about the famous people, Billy is right that we all sided with The Rock over Vin Diesel in his feud with Vin Diesel. Everyone did. And it may have been because we were simply influenced by liking him more. Like, it seems like The Rock is more likable. Vin Diesel takes himself very seriously. The Rock, Stugotz, do you understand that this man has made all this money off of being charismatically someone who puts on a mask?
Right.
Not actually, but he's a professional wrestler. His acting chops are learning to watch his dad perform for people in a ring with Tony Atlas. Rocky Johnson with Mr. Olympia. They were building wrestling. The Rock grew up in a household where he learned how to be in disguise all of the time. All of the time. Became a professional actor, wrestler, all the time. This man gives off charisma while he's talked about his mental health stuff and the places where he's gotten sad. And always in public, he's putting on a great face. Mm-hmm. Everyone thinks The Rock is happy all the time, successful all the time, inspirational all the time. It's really hard to keep that up for 20 years successfully.
Not when you're getting paid all the time. I mean, he's getting paid all the time. I'm with Chris. I do not think he is the biggest movie star going. I do not. Tom Cruise.
Okay, how do you define it then? Like how? I mean, it's fine. We can quibble about it if you want. I'm just saying that The Rock hasn't made very many good movies. There aren't a lot of what I'm talking about.
There's at least 5 good Fast movies that he's made.
Oh, crying out loud!
The Rock, Leo's resume is filled with movies that are thespian choices. The Rock is doing the thing that The Rock can do best, something that doesn't have to challenge you too much. You can just go, as an actor, you can just go there and be The Rock, and people will watch you be The Rock.
But do you think the great directors, the great filmmakers, when they're casting a movie, like you think Martin Scorsese is sitting around going, I need The Rock for this role?
You are totally right about this, Stugotz. I am not talking about an actor's ability to act.
We're not saying he has crazy range.
I don't know.
That's Dave Bautista.
Guys.
We've done this 1,000 times.
He can sing, though, right, Chris?
Oh, won't you stay with me? 'Cause you're all I need. This ain't love, it's clear to see. And darling, stay with me.
Jessica,
That was Vin Diesel.
that was expertly done, except telling people that they were listening to The Rock sing.
I mean, The
instead
Rock
of
was
Vin
in
Diesel.
Moana.
That's right. He sings
The
your
Rock
welcome.
Yeah, he
also
sings in
can- I
Moana.
thought
You're
Chris was going to play
welcome.
Moana.
He sang in the
actually.
ring.
I was teeing it up for
You're
that.
welcome.
Yep.
Roy, you
There you
really
go.
mumbled your way through that one.
Yeah, The Rock sang in the ring while he was under his character. He had like a guitar and everything.
Right, you know what I'm saying, though? Do a movie like On Golden Pond. Sit in a
Golden
canoe
Pond.
with Henry Fonda and act, okay?
I
Something
really
like that.
I don't understand this take by you at all, because like Dan will say
One-trick
Daniel
pony.
Day-Lewis is a great actor, and you're like, Stallone.
Yeah.
And now it's like The Rock is the greatest actor. Like, I want range. Give me Streep. And then I'll be like, Streep is great. I'm like, 2 Oscars. Rings.
There's a little bit of Stugotz in everybody, because I will tell you that just last night I called in my wife from the other room because I was pausing the television on something that had just made me howl with delight.
The Knicks?
No, well, I was in a good mood because of everything that was happening with the Knicks, but I just stopped purposefully on the word. It said Sylvester Stallone. It was all that was on the screen. Yeah. And then the thing that came up next with dramatic music was just Rambo 3 came up on the screen. And I was just, and so I was just, I was hypnotized for a moment by the same thing that grabs Stugotz by the heart and never lets go. I don't believe that Stugotz could have chosen funnier 3 words to put together for a movie than On Golden Pond. That he needs. It
was Henry Fonda, right?
He needs the Rock to perform On Golden Pond before he's willing to celebrate him as the world's biggest movie star. Until then, it's Tom Cruise.
It's a 50-year-old movie.
That's all I had.
Sam Morril is there, Stugotz. He is our Knicks correspondent. He was there with Taylor, and Brad Williams was there inexplicably last night for reasons I didn't totally understand, trying to vie to become the Knicks correspondent.
Wait, Taylor had seats next to Sam?
No, it wasn't seats next to Sam, but he was pretending to drink with Sam because he just wanted to be part of the crowd. He couldn't have smelled good because he was on a train for 28 hours. But Sam, welcome in here. Rank it for me, Sam, because I'm almost scared to ask you this as someone who's grown to care about you. I feel like that might have been as bad as that sport has ever made you feel last night.
I didn't sleep well last night. I'm going to be honest. That was a rough one. If I was in Guantanamo, play that footage. That's how you get me. You know, that was rough. So, it reminds me of the Reggie Miller play in the Garden. But a reminder, the Knicks won that series in 6-2. So have a short-term memory. Let's get this in Philly.
Okay, it's excellent coach talk, but I want to rummage around with your lack of sleep last night. I want to know how you felt at the end of that game and where it ranks for you legitimately in terms of heartbreak. Because while you're one of the great things this time of year is feeling the suffering of other sports fans. It elevates all of this. It makes the stakes higher for you as you take over Philadelphia, and Knicks fans are louder than everyone else. You guys care deeply. What was last night like for you?
Not good. It was not good. I mean, look, you felt the air come out of the Garden. I mean, that play, you can't foul Tyrese Maxey, although God damn, you can't make that whistle either. It's such an unnatural shooting motion. It really, I would say this Philadelphia team is the biggest group of foul hunters I've ever seen in my life. Like, they don't play a likable brand of basketball. No. Where the Knicks are fucking bruisers and they're fun. This Philly team is just annoying. Maxey's a great player. I got to give Maxey his credit.
Yeah, but listen, Sam, we're on WFAT here. So who are you mad at? Like, who are you ripping today? Is it Mitchell Robinson? He owes us one.
He doesn't really do that, though. Sam, you're pretty, like, you love this team so much. You're super gentle with, you don't criticize.
On the Fats.
I know, but
well,
you are on WFAT, though.
Mitch you got to love Mitch because he took credit. He said, or he took accountability, rather. He said, I fucked up. And he did. He knows he did. But I still think, like, that's a tough call to make. Like, if you're the refs, like, we never challenge left because the refs make bad fucking calls against the Knicks all night. I mean, this group of Sixers is just looking for the foul at all times. It's just an annoying team. Like that Lowry shot in Game 5 where he just dove over on the floor, Jalen Brunson. It's a lot of unnatural shooting. Look, you can't make that foul. That's what everyone's saying. You wish Josh hit those free throws, but like, we're not here without Josh. You know, Mitchell played great D all first half against Embiid. I think that's a situation where, like, you wish they fouled. It's unfortunate.
Sam, you really are filled with.
Hey guys, I just want to step in here. There was more than one comedian at the show and at the game last night. As the Dan Le Batard West Coast Knicks correspondent, that was a heartbreaker. It really was. And as everyone knows, you guys are becoming a Knicks show. I'm a Laker fan, but I'm reading the tea leaves, and I know that in order to get on this show, I have to start being a Knicks fan. So Jason Brunson, was amazing last night. That guy DiGiorno, he's fantastic, and I really feel like the head coach Mike Woodson really needs to make some adjustments in order for the Knicks to come back and really respond well.
Well, Mike Woodson might be the new Lakers coach soon, so enjoy that.
9 lives, that guy.
I buy Darvin Ham. Look, I knew Darvin Ham was in trouble when the Nuggets coach comes on at the end and goes, he's a great coach. I hope they don't fire him. Like, yeah, you like cooking his ass in the playoffs every year. Of course you don't want to be fired.
Hey, I did like, Sam, that that we had tickets in the handicap section.
We did.
Of Madison Square Garden. That was very awkward. Walking in, and there's a lot of people in wheelchairs, and they saw a dwarf, and they're like, well, at least we don't have that. But that was my first Knick game at the Garden. It was truly exciting, unbelievable, and all the celebrities were there. Jon Stewart was there. Tracy Morgan was there. The guy that was the puppeteer for Alf, he was there. He got some screen time. Sam Morril and myself did not get any screen time.
It is funny. Sam, you were getting good seats earlier in the series, and now
I don't like asking though. Brad said he had tickets. I was like, I don't like asking because they hook it up when I ask, so I don't like to ask. So.
But wait a minute.
I'll ask.
But look what happened. You didn't ask. It's Brad's fault that you got worse seats.
I kind of like the handicap section because I can say whatever I want in the handicap section, and they're like, well, maybe he's handicapped, like maybe something's wrong with him. So I kind of like that, like maybe he's Tourette's or something. He's dropping some curses, but no, look, it's fun to be in the higher seats sometimes. You're around the fucking real fans.
Sam, you're unrelentingly positive today. I don't even know what to do with this. You're supposed to be.
Look, my thing is, we're gonna win this in 6. I believe we are the better team. I think they stole one. That was a fucking annoying game. I mean, I don't know how they come back. They did to us what we did to them in game 2.
That's correct.
He doesn't know how they come back. He just said they're going to win.
I know, but you got one stolen, and then they stole one, and then yes, this is where it all gets ratcheted up, and then there are more rounds. And
it bothers me. You seem a little too positive about this game, and I don't like that you enjoyed it this much, Dan. I don't like that you're the Schadenfreude. You're enjoying the Knicks suffering.
Well, no,
he's enjoying our misery, Sam.
This is what I will say. I enjoy the content of it because it's an elevated place to live. Pat Riley used to say that Game 7, he loved them more than anything in the world because everything gets elevated and there's nothing else in life. You don't jump up and down maybe when your kids are born in and scream at the television. Like Game 7 is a heightened place to live. I want this series to go 7 games because Maxey bailed out an MVP last night, Sam. Like what I'm watching there is Maxey become a historic kind of playoff star if they can come back in this series. A forever guy in Philadelphia who'll be remembered for that shot if they can come back and win because he bailed out the MVP.
Hold on, 2 things. You know what else Riley used to say? Suck my dick, Philadelphia. Probably. He probably said that at some point. And also, you just said bailed out an MVP. Embiid ain't looking like an MVP. Yeah. I'll say this. Brunson's looking like a better player than Embiid this series. Embiid's looking like a little crybaby, foul merchant, foul hunting baby. And you cannot tell me Embiid is playing in a likable manner this series.
No, he is not.
As a Knick fan for the last 24 hours, I agree with everything that Sam is saying. Long-suffering 24-hour Knick fan.
Calling him a foul merchant is amazing. That's a very funny thing to slash him with, and it's accurate. You're right, Stugotz. This part's surprising to me. Absolutely so. The New York Knicks have a lovable basketball team. It is more lovable than Philadelphia's, even with what Maxey did yesterday.
Our best player is not supposed to be any team's best player in Jalen Brunson. It's a blue-collar team that the crowd, the fans have fallen in love with. They're disappointed after last night. I'm disappointed, but I'm surprised Sam is so positive because I have the Knicks losing in the worst possible way. 7 games, Saturday night, 4th quarter at the Mecca. somehow they're going to figure out a way to lose that game.
Sam, are you going to? You got Brunson taking 30 shots a game, and he's shooting 29% from three. How long are you going to tolerate that? You're just going to believe in him until you're just going to keep believing. You're going to keep believing, right?
The last 3 games, he shot pretty well. I think his average is probably down because of the first 2 games.
25% from three.
4 of 11 last night, Sam.
Yeah, not amazing. Look, I mean, we're a grinded out defensive team. When your 2 second leading scorers are OG Anunoby and Josh Hart, like this is a defense first team. We're missing Randall. Randall is our second scorer. So yeah, I think we win with defense, and we've been winning with defense, and that's our MO. So we gotta keep locking teams down. And when you win with defense and you're playing against these little fucking pussies who just you breathe on them and they fall over, like I have lost all respect for Joel Embiid. And you can see that he's in that interview last night. You could tell that he wants out. He's feeling the Philly pressure. He doesn't like playing in this city. He was like, New York's my favorite city. Can you imagine your star saying your favorite city is the team that he's playing against right now? He's done with Philly right now.
Also, the entire Garden all game was chanting F Embiid. So the fact that that's his favorite city, he's in a kind of an abusive relationship with New York for sure.
Sam, that's a hell of an announcement. Did you guys hear that? You guys got to clip that and send it all over the internet. Sam has lost all respect. Not 95% of his respect.
All of it, Dan.
Not 97. Sam loves basketball. Sam loves Embiid's talent. Sam no longer respects Joel Embiid. That's absolute, Sam. You're saying that for everyone to hear.
It's official. Someone tweeted me, who do you hate worse, Joel Embiid or Adolf Hitler? And I said, look, he's not in that camp yet. But I'm not happy with how he's conducted himself.
He took it there, Dan.
He did take it there.
I know. Twitter took it there, and I'm just responding to a tweet. I didn't take it there. I'm saying people take it there, and I have
it's Twitter's fault.
No,
please don't put me on camera when he's making the Embiid Hitler comparisons. Please don't do that.
Sam, listen to me. I've seen your work on Hawaii morning television. You like to destroy things. Sam. You just got here. You can't come here and destroy everything, living on the edge like you do.
Tell that to Joel Embiid. He can't destroy everything. And I'm talking about basketball, the sport I love. Stop flopping like a fucking pussy. Okay. And you know what? Stop foul hunting Philadelphia. It's fucking irritating. Play the game the right way. Like Josh Hart and Jalen Brunson and OG Anunoby. Real men's men.
All right.
WFAT.
No, it is. It's WFAT. I can't believe I got to let him go early because he's just insulting everybody.
We love men.
Yes, well put, Sam. Good. No, this is what's happened. They've warned me about doing this with comedians. You have to be careful, Stugotz. Once this guy got the scent of, wait, Dan's going to enjoy my pain. Yeah. Watch what I do. Because there's Dan's going to enjoy. He knows.
You want to drink these tears? They're going to be salty, Dan. They're going to be salty tears.
They're going to be salty, but also dangerous tears. You want me as your Knicks correspondent? This is what it's going to look like, Dan. I'm going to come in here at the end.
I told you. I warned you today would be a bad Sam.
Okay.
You wanted me after a loss. This is what you get.
We need you after a loss.
No, I regret everything that's happened here. I regret everything.
Calling everyone a pussy?
Everything. Yes. Okay. Yes. Thank you. Yes. That's
game on Philadelphia.
Yes. And
we can't foul. We really can't foul in that situation. I mean, look, it's like the stages of grief, man. You just gotta not make those fouls, and you can't. As I said, Maxey's the only Sixer I respect.
Can I just understand? Let's have this video clip as we get out of here. I just want to see. Taylor was drinking with Brad and Sam, but he doesn't drink, right, Chris? He was just...
I don't know him to be a big drinker.
So he was just trying to get along with the party because he had taken 28 hours by train. Let me see this video of Brad and Sam and Taylor together doing this. What do we have?
Knicks in 5.
Knicks in 5.
Okay, and look at and it's not Knicks in 5. It should have been Knicks in 5.
Should have been, yeah.
They had all.
Now it'll be Sixers in 7.
What's that?
Sam, have you changed since yesterday, or
No.
Okay.
Okay.
No, I've been in a world of fucking pain.
Was that the Blarney Stone? Blarney Stone?
Your
No, it was a bar called Pioneer on 29th Street.
You wasted your time.
And can I get a little respect for drinking that shot? That's a lot of alcohol for me. I was thoroughly messed up after that shot.
Did Taylor do anything weird because he shouldn't have been in your company and you guys just welcomed him in because he's part of our show?
Taylor was fine, man. He smelled a little funny, but like that goes for everybody in New York, so it's fine. He was great.
I pressured him into having a prime rib sandwich with us at the Garden, and that was a mistake. That sandwich, I'm sweating it out right now. Still, it's gross. That mixed with tequila and whiskey, I'm like, what am I thinking?
Sam, you don't smell good right now, do you?
It's not great. I've been better.
There are any number of things, Stugotz, that I have become ill-equipped to talk about, have not talked about well around here in recent years, and most recently, something that everyone is talking about today. A lot of people who care about art, entertainment, beef. A lot of people are talking today about Kendrick Lamar producing a 19-minute rebuttal, 19 minutes of music directed at Drake. And I and this show have done this poorly, so I'm not going to do it today with us. I'm going to do it with Peter Rosenberg, who has some credentials here, and he can talk about it. And if you're interested in the beef stuff, it'll all be over there, where a real expert is joining us, somebody with real hip-hop credentials, on knowledge of the history of hip-hop, and he'll be on with us in a little bit. But I wanted to talk to you before we went any further.
Yep.
Billy is somebody who, in the shadows, does
Billy?
Does things, yes, this Billy.
Doesn't sound like me so far.
Shadows?
This Billy works in the shadows nefariously to create quiet problems for others that bemuse him.
Falsehoods?
Okay. I want to smoke you out here, though. You say falsehoods, but I really do want to air a bit of company business here. Usually I don't go this far behind the curtain. You are, in disguise, one of the great anarchists in the history of entertainment. You do things all the time that have escaped my vision and knowledge over the last 20 years, just running around in the shadows, lighting fuses, and then running away, cackling, laughing at home when the joke is
Billy Gill.
Well, okay, you tell me
Not
if
Corbin.
All right.
There's two Billies.
No,
we get confused sometimes.
Well, the other Bill,
Don't get me started on the other one.
The other Billy causes a great deal
One time
of chaos.
Francis Suarez showed up on a Zoom. I was like, what the hell's going on here?
The other Billy does good work in Miami protecting us from corruption. He is also an agent of chaos, but he does his agent of chaos for good. You do it for good entertainment and in service of your character, one of the most beloved around here because he's an anarchist. But this is where I want to see if I have you pinned on something. And I'd like to show the people, because you do a very good job of disguising it, whether you indeed are trying to make Taylor's life more miserable than it presently is today.
Whoa.
Taylor works for us. He took a 28-hour train to New York.
I had nothing to do with that.
Right, but he is suffering right now. And I heard you and Stugotz whispering, and it felt to me like you were trying to make Taylor's life worse. There were pieces of an idea here that I heard that seemed like it would make Taylor's life a lot worse, and you were doing it in the shadows, and I'd like to smoke it out a little bit so that everybody can see what, while yelling falsehoods, what you and Stugotz were up to.
Maybe tell me what this is, because I don't know what we're talking about here.
So it was my idea. Me and Billy, we were whispering about it. I think we should send Taylor to Philadelphia now, and then potentially back home to New York for Game 7 on Saturday. Taylor can't come home until the Knicks win.
Love it.
Yeah.
Yes, he cannot come home until
That's
the Knicks
great.
win. And Game 7, Dan, would be a game for Taylor's job.
Yeah. Well, not for his job, just if he's in New York for Game 7 and they don't win, he has to stay in New York until they win another game.
Wait, can I volunteer for that?
Is this a punishment? He didn't have a place to shower yesterday. We
Yeah,
don't
what
know-
was that about?
We don't know if he didn't have a place to stay. Well,
He
no.
told me he was going to sleep in the office. I'm like, I don't know if that's allowed.
I told him to go to Blarney Stone.
Imagine John Skipper strolling into the office at, 7 whatever on the dot, and he comes in and he's kind of twirling his keys around because he opens up the front door and he walks in, and then Taylor is on like a couch or something there.
I do believe I see a young man sleeping here.
The New York office does have a weird pile of those like dude wipe things in the bathroom.
Really?
Like way too many of them though.
Wow.
Like I wonder why.
Like in a corner?
In the bathroom. Like there's so many.
Hello, young Taylor.
Weird.
Are we doing this with Taylor? Because I would love for Taylor to be the reason the Knicks don't win the series.
Hello, Tar Heel.
That's what I'm going for.
Please get me some sound of Foghorn Leghorn, because you are no longer doing a job.
I do declare.
You are not doing.
do me a favor, okay? You're not doing a John
Careful, Chris.
Skipper. You are doing
Very.
a Foghorn Leghorn, and I want to get. Am I wrong about this, Roy?
No, you are absolutely correct. He does sound like Foghorn Leghorn.
So is Taylor going to Philadelphia or not?
Right.
Well, I want to talk about this for a second because
it happen.
what are you doing on WFAT? We need promotional. We need to show the people that Program Director Stugotz has hijinks and live stuff that he had planned and ideas. And here you're doing the radio bit of basically publicly ransacking Taylor's life by
Right.
not letting him come home.
By sending him to playoff games.
And yes, but putting his job on the line at the end, like raising the gambling to such a high stakes that you're now putting his career on the line as the last bet for your amusement. Like Taylor isn't a human being; he's someone whose life you could play with.
Hold on a second. There's plenty of journalists traveling and following this series. If anything, I would argue this is a golden opportunity for Taylor to follow around the team that he cares about the most and cover a playoff series, home, road. Roy does all kinds of things to do this with the Panthers.
This is not a punishment for Taylor. He would love this.
Again,
the train was weird. Thank you, by the way, to Amtrak if they did anything
And Game Time.
sponsorship-wise. But yeah,
No,
thank you
Game
to
Time
Game Time.
did all
But,
the sponsorship.
Yeah,
So-
the idea of the train was very inefficient. And
So
I looked up ticket prices.
Right. But now it's a quick train down to Philly. If they lose that game, back to New York. Those are like an hour train ride. Like, he'll be fine. But Dan, what I'm trying to do is give the Knicks fans a reason if they lose this series, and their reason is going to be Taylor. Because when he started showing up, they started losing.
I don't think that in the last 10 minutes of what we've talked about, when Billy said falsehoods to what I was saying, I don't think that people understand that we now have to do what it is you guys are talking about, which is put Taylor's job on the line.
No, not his job.
No, wait. No.
He'll still do whatever
Hiatus.
he does. Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Just from New York.
Just remotely. He's going to have to.
Billy?
Right.
Billy.
So they
We
win
have an
again.
office up there. Just
Right.
That's fine. He has to be there. You still have to pay rent down here.
Billy,
You can't enjoy your apartment.
The thing about the idea, that you and Stugotz were talking about,
Good one.
the only thing that makes it radio hijinks the way Stugotz would do it as program director of WFAT is if you put the kid's job on the line as a bet. That's what I heard you guys talking about. No, let's send him to playoff games.
Game for his job.
Let's send
It's not his job. He just can't come home. That's bad enough.
Well, he can't do his job
He's still
from
employed.
elsewhere.
Why?
What do you mean, why?
I don't know. I'm just asking.
Now you're going to make him a correspondent? You're going to promote him for...
No, there's an office up there. You can go plug in. I'm sure there's a corner cubicle he can hit up or something.
I don't think this idea is going to work because Taylor just texted me that he refuses to go to another game in person.
Well, that's not how it works.
And also, he signed up for Class Pass yesterday so he could go to a gym just to use the shower.
Huh.
I don't understand why he's not staying somewhere. I don't understand why.
Game Time didn't sponsor that part, I guess.
Yeah. Times are tight, Dan.
Jesus.
You know how much is
it's hard to live in Miami.
Yeah.
Get him a room.
I mean, that does.
Plane mid-flight, you know, all that.
Agreed, Stugotz. Yes, agreed. That's what. Yes, thank you, Stugotz. Yes, get him a room. Like what? Yes. Thank you for not helping me at all. Like, I'm asking the question, like, why doesn't he have some place to stay?
How about this? If he goes to Philadelphia, we'll look into a room.
We should get him a room.
In Philadelphia?
So we're doing it.
We should get him, yes, and his job is on the line.
No.
Sponsored by Stugotz and Billy.
I like that.
No room and job not on the line? How about that?
Even worse.
Okay. Dan wants to up the stakes, man. And he's right.
I want this to be a game that we can watch together and care about. I want these games to matter. I want them to have stakes.
I mean, they do matter. It's a playoff game.
No, but
They
I'm
do
saying to WFAT. We've got a new standard around here, a new identity around here, and I want people to care the way Stugotz wants them to care today when they're making 12 shares for Sal at WFAN.
I got to tell you, a 12 share would be an embarrassment today, Dan. It would be. If you're not putting up a 30 share today, meant 25.54, you are not doing the right show. And by not doing the right show, you're talking too much. Just take calls. Let them do the work for you.
It's the last.
Let Sal and the Bronx do it for you. That's all I'm saying. I mean, that's it.
I'm telling you that the thing that burns today in New York, it is something from a bygone time.
Sports radio, the flame of sports radio that rises up today. That Stugotz lights up radiant. Stugotz is living today a higher form of life because people in New York are making calls about their teams.
Sports radio is alive and well today.
What Stugotz is today, even as he's a heartbroken Knicks fan, he's like, the content, endless rivers of content for days. You just open up the phone lines, and people who love sports and hate sports just spit acid into the sea. Can I get some help from the people in the other room outside here to keep Stugotz out for a second while we talk about him? Because I don't want him to be able to interrupt what it is that we're experiencing right now. Stugotz is crazy today. I'm introducing the shipping container. I don't know if you guys, even Roy, Billy, and Chris, are old enough to remember back when Stugotz really cared about sports. Back when he really cared about the doing of sports radio.
Do you think you broke him?
You absolutely, yeah, you did. You did break him. Yes, he did.
You think I'm the reason that right now, as we're on live, he's walking around a parking garage smoking cigarettes today? You think I'm the reason and not the Knicks? That
No. I wouldn't say that you're the reason he's doing that. But I would say, and, it's not time for legacy talk, but I would say on your part of your legacy, maybe on your headstone, not to get morbid here, but your tombstone would be Dan taught us not to care about sports that much. And I feel like you kind of softened sports for a lot of people. We're like, I don't really care. Not that important. And I think you'd be proud of that. Maybe not.
As a legacy, I just don't understand why you're making it about me dying while he can't do the show because he's smoking.
Oh no, when you die, you're gonna outlive him by a good 20 years. I think we would agree on that, right? Yeah. It's taking weird turns.
He's outside the room now. Okay, now I see that he is out there. Good. So he is finished with what he was doing. I do want to get rebuttal from him on this. The person I was introducing you guys to is, I know that you guys think that he's always smoking cigarettes out there because he is, even though he says he's going to quit and he occasionally quits. But today of all days, I'm being reintroduced to my partner who I remember what he was when he cared about the Knicks most deeply. I don't know if I broke him, the show broke him, whether the Knicks broke him. I'm telling you that the guy who's missing the microphone, Stugotz doesn't miss the microphone on a day like today. On a day like today, he wants to be around the microphone. He was calling WIP during the break saying, Philadelphia's just as good today. I want to see if I can work over there. I want to see who's got a job over there because it's just as good in Philadelphia today.
You called Howard Eskin?
Yeah, I don't know who he's calling.
Well, it's Spike Eskin now.
Okay.
Oh, Spike Eskin.
I assure you he was calling someone because he misses that, but also his fandom is a burning ember. Like Stugotz has squozen a whole lot of profit out of caring about his teams, and some of that has died over the years. Or I'm going to put it another way.
Profits haven't.
I'm going to put it another way. You grow up and you care sometimes slightly less about sports than you used to because kids' problems arrived and you became an adult and you weren't a child forever. And your fandom dies a little bit there because life perspective arrives. But on days like today, Stugotz remembers what it was like to be young. Even in the pain of it, he remembers what it felt like when New York was abuzz in the 90s and everyone was calling sports radio as it was growing to complain about X, Y, and Z because they cared so damn unreasonably about their team.
Even after a loss. I mean, this brings me back to a time, where Charles Smith missed 4 bunnies at the end of a game to cost the Knicks, the Reggie Miller game, the time when we realized Linsanity, Jeremy Lin wasn't that good. I mean, there are a ton of moments throughout history that have gotten me excited. I can't believe I'm saying a loss has done that to me. A loss has done more for me than a win. I'm serious. Like, losing is cathartic sometimes. And Dan, I was thinking about this because you will outlive me. But I was thinking about this as you guys were talking about it. I started smoking when we stopped taking calls. Calls were my cigarettes.
Oh, wow.
I need them.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, we're going to have to fix that, aren't we? We should do a campaign of Stugotz getting healthier because calls are his medicine. Oh. It's how he wants to do it. And one of the reasons that he does it, and this is the great secret of sports radio that I can't believe they built an empire of profit off of, In no other industry are the people so lazy that they outsource the entertainment to somebody driving around on the streets on a phone. Nowhere is it that low a bar.
But Vinny in Yonkers, you've never heard him. I mean,
but he'll carry you for an afternoon.
He'll carry you for a day.
You'll parasail through the sky with Vinny from Yonkers, just profiting off his rage.
Sometimes the person you're listening to call in is the same person you're listening to on your podcast, and that's why Ryan Cortez is such a special talent.
Yeah. I mean, Joe on a car phone is Joe Beningo. He got a job. He parlayed his calls into a job at WFAN.
This is part of the reason.
Car phone.
Can you get for me, please?
I miss a car phone.
Vinny on a mobile. You're on WFAT. I really do think we need to do a segment where Stugotz takes calls today.
I think Chris just learned that there were car phones.
Inside the car. Like it was connected with a cord.
Yeah.
You'd pick it up and there'd be.
And then you had to connect the cord to like the phone line so you could only go so far.
Yeah.
What year was this?
Yeah. It was crazy times.
You don't watch Columbo reruns and
Imagine
it shows.
the knots.
This is how old Stugotz is. Stugotz is remembering, and I'm remembering how old we are, the time where it was innovative to say, as if you were at the height of technology and entertainment, Vinny on a car phone. This is such an important thing. It's coming from a car.
He can't wait until he gets home.
We are going out in the field. We're not in a studio. No, sir. When we outsource our lazy material to Vinny, no, he's calling us on a car phone because this opinion has to get in here in a hurry. He can't wait till he gets home to call from a landline.
And he can't do it from work. I mean,
Was the white Bronco chase? Was OJ on a car phone while the police were trying to talk
I believe so,
talk
yeah.
him into turning himself in?
Yeah.
Or was it just it had to have been a car phone, right? It was like 94.
Mm-hmm.
We should talk on WFAT about food. We need to talk about food. I want to turn WFAT into a sports and food station, led by Stugotz and his need to get callers from Yonkers.
Well, no food, I mean.
Food. WFAT should talk about food because the Mets and their hot dogs. The Mets, I didn't think earlier in the season when the Mets had no fans at the game and Darling and Cohen were talking about this is rock bottom for the Mets. I couldn't believe the number you guys said to me on hot dogs sold. What was this promotion?
It was Dollar Dog Night at the Mets game last night, yeah.
Dan, we've all heard of Mike Crack, but have you heard of Seymour Wiener?
I have not.
Seymour Wiener is, he's on the screen right now, a legendary Mets fan who was honored on opening day. He's, I believe, a military veteran, 96 years old. Lifelong Mets fan, and somehow Seymour Wiener became a internet sensation. I believe because his name is Seymour Wiener, and this led into a Mets promotion for Dollar Dog Night, in which Mets fans went to Citi Field, purchased over 44,000 hot dogs.
Wow.
So, I mean, $45,000 spent on hot dogs, if I'm doing the math correctly there, Dan.
44,269 times 1? Yeah, 44,269.
That's some quick math.
Yeah.
Plus tax.
It's just...
No tax.
And people were going crazy for the dollar dogs. There was this guy on the subway with a shirt that had a tally of how many dollar dogs he had eaten. I believe you could only buy 4 at one time, so they were limiting. This was in the New York Post today. This guy with tallies for how many beers and how many dollar dogs, and biggest Mets win of the year, I think.
What are you laughing about, Billy?
Again, they show the tally.
Bad day to be a glizzy is what his shirt said.
I hate that place.
So the moral of the story is
Sam moral.
People will go crazy if you just charge a reasonable amount for a not that fancy article of food.
Jeremy, go sit in the penalty box. I'm gonna.
No, it wasn't. It was not a good one.
Get out of here for that joke. I have been alarmed. I legitimately feel wherever it is that people correctly accuse me of being out of touch. I legitimately feel for people all over our country, Stugotz, who are simply hurting because of how bad inflation is getting. I cannot believe how much things cost, so that when you tell me $1 hot dog, Hell yeah, $1 hot dog, because everything costs $8 now. You cannot buy.
Right.
You can't buy. If you look toward where it is Americans are unhappy today, you don't have to go a lot farther than deeply in there. If prices keep getting crazy into a place where food is this, that $1 hot dog is absolutely a bargain. I would love to go somewhere and be someone, if I am struggling in any way, who can go get 10 hot dogs for $10.
There's a taco shop near my house that offers on Tuesdays 2 tacos and a drink for $6.
Wow.
The line is around the block. It's crazy.
I'm getting a free Whopper Jr. today because the Marlins won at home. Oh, what a win that was.
Wow.
Is that 7 on the season?
That's 7 wins on the season. Their 3rd win at home. Road Warriors, the Marlins.
Sneaky good night last night for South Florida fans. The Marlins win in extra innings.
Yep.
Boston Bruins lose, make that series go longer. The Knicks were in pain. A great night for the Heat and Panthers not playing.
You'll have your pain tonight.
The Marlins headed into the 9th down 5. And then scored 5 runs in the 9th, went into extras, gave up a run immediately, and then scored 2 runs, walk-off.
Is that a promotion they do every night?
Every time the Marlins win a home game, the next day at Burger King, free Whopper Jr.
And BK is just like,
BK is winning that promotion.
Do you think they're tanking the Marlins season so they don't have to give out free Whopper Juniors?
Burger King has given out this whole season. I called and did some original reporting on this. 11 free Whopper Juniors throughout South Florida.
They've all been at Billy
I got 2 of them.
It's going to be 12 today.
After the first one, I went with my phone and my wife's phone, 2 orders, 2 free Whopper Juniors. Oh, beat the system.
Excuse me, sir, you're back again.
Billy.
They looked at me because I'm like, I'm picking up
around the
2
drive-thru.
mobile orders, please. And like, 2?
Billy,
I'm like, yep.
Bam! This is what
2 phones.
Billy, this is what I'm telling you. If WFAT knew anything about how to promote, you would be out there as the defeated Marlins fan, and you would be announcing yourself as the Burger King, the only person who bought or got any of those burgers because he both went to the game and then went to a nearby Burger King.
You don't even have to go to the game. Anyone can get it. I was worried about No, anyone can get it. Yeah, anyone in Miami can get it. Just go and you sign on to the app, whatever. You get a free Whopper Jr. I was worried about what this would do to my cholesterol. Hasn't been an issue so far.
You've only had 11. Stu, Seymour Wiener, any relation?
No, but I wish he was. I mean, I would like that to be my great-grandfather.
You should be WFAT's Seymour Wiener, the program director for WFAT.